Welcome everyone back to Pommy and Oz. Hope we're doing really well. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe. We're smashing out the content, and obviously you guys and girls are supporting really hard. If you want to become a member, we do members only, so people who watch the Billy Wilson, they got to see that 24 hours later. We've got also some special things planned for our members, some watch-alongs, some gaming things, some just chill-out stuff. So if you want to be a part of that, click the link in the description, and we're here today to do an off-season review of Essendon. So, obviously doing this in alphabetical order, I get my two rivals in a row, and let's start off with what happened last season. So, obviously, Alistair Lord, Kieran McBride, Anthony McDonald, Tipper Woody, he retired. Massimo D'Ambrosio and Brendan Zerk-Thatcher left on trades, and they also delisted Rhett Montgomery, Anthony Mungara, Will Schnelling, James Stewart, Patrick Voss, with Andrew Phillips retiring, long servant for them, former cow and boy as well as GWS, and obviously quite a hefty out. You know, with Tipper going, he didn't quite set the world alight when he came back, but obviously that is a big part of leadership and also maturity there. The Massimo one was a big surprise for me because I always thought there was a little bit of talent there. But that being said, they did replace the two guys that you'd probably be concerned about. Zerk-Thatcher, they replaced him with Ben Mackay, who we'll talk about, and Massimo, they've replaced him in the draft. So, real interesting off-season for them. Dodoro's last year, obviously, so that's exciting because that means they're going to have a different kind of turnaround as they go into the new year. And let's look at the guys they brought in. So straight off the bat, Ben Mackay, key defender from North Melbourne, now there. They got him on a free, paid his contract, the 71 games at AFL level, 7 touches, 2.9 marks, 1.5 intercept marks, 86.3 percentage. And if you look at this over the last 2 years, this jumps up as well. Ben is a really solid player at 202 and 104. Big dimensions, and there's no doubt about his talent. The big thing from me is 71 games being in the AFL system for as long as he has. That needs to change, and if he can stay fit, he's easily top 10 in the league for what he does. It is an area of need for them. Zerk-Thatcher wasn't really that buster in key position player. They've used Laverdy. They've been waiting on the injuries of Zach Reed. Ben Mackay is in that ilk of the top level footballers that we see. A really good acquisition, particularly when you're getting him for free. The salary is the big question mark on him, but for me, if he can get 20 games a year out of him, that is money well spent. As we know, both front end and back end of the ground are so important, particularly the back end of the ground. And Ben is a transitional threat as well. Uses the pill genuinely pretty well as well. I like it. I do like this acquisition. I've taken the piss out of it in the off-season, but now we're here analysing it impartially. If this kid can stay right, it's a very good acquisition. Second chance player really here, Jade Gresham. And Jade Gresham's one of these players every year in the pre-season we're talking about. If he can just find some continuity, he's going to be supreme. 177.81. Kind of a mid, kind of a forward. Generally plays his best football, though, general forward. 136 games, 18.7 touches, 2.5 tackles, 5.2 score involvements, and a goal a game. Essendon don't have a player like this. So this is just straight off the bat a very good acquisition. Didn't cost pretty much peanuts, wasn't it? He's best 22 player. He's dynamic. He can change a game. You look at the Essendon team, definitely lacks that point of difference, doesn't it? And Gresh, definitely on his day, is incredibly good at what he does. Very interesting pickup, this one, and one that, again, if he can get himself right like Ben, absolutely laughing, and St Kilda will look very, very bad with this. Definitely, he fills the gap. A lot of requirements are on Jake Stringer. He's got some support now. He's got a player that can penetrate the game and change it up, can pinch it in the midfield. Scotty will love this guy around him. So, good pickup for them, and we wish him well. Todd Goldstein. Obviously, you know, you've got Draper as your lead ruckman. Flip was a godsend for Essendon last season, being able to come in when he got injured. Obviously, Draper will miss parts of the season, as you know. Goldstein coming in at his age, 315 games played, 201, 101. You know what he's about. You know he's ready. You know he can play. 12 touches, 2.8 clearances, 27.7 hit outs, and just under 47% of them won. You know he's going to be AFL standard. So if there is an injury, but also to work off, Sam Draper, you've got a young ruckman that you've drafted as well that we'll talk about later. He's a standard setter. He's probably one of the best to do it in the modern day game. It's a really good acquisition. And the big thing is as well, when you're trying to build depth, you need depth that is ready to play. And Todd Goldstein's been there, done it, wrote the book, hasn't he? I mean, he starred in the movie and wrote the theme tune. So I really like this acquisition. Cost them nada, and he is probably best 22. Xavier Dersma came in, and this is a big surprise. I'm surprised Port got rid of him. Whether it's on the midfield, whether it's half forward or pinch hitting. The first year you would say this guy probably stood out over Butters and Mr. Rosie. Injuries, form, kind of taking it away from him. But at 186 and 82, with the Archer celebration, there is no doubt Xavier on his day is a fantastic footballer. Showing his versatility with 73 games, 16 touches, 4.4 marks, 2.3 tackles, and 3.4 score involvements. My big thing with them is just being a bit dynamic in that middle. And I think Xavier Dersma coming is that X factor. He is that excitement machine. He is that point of difference. We saw Durham and Nick Martin. Nick Martin arguably one of the best wingers in the league at the moment. He becomes a rotation there. I think he's going to take Dylan Shields' position, and I think that they'll start running through the midfield and start being that player. We know Dylan Shields is starting to slow down. All the injuries are catching up with him. I think Xavier Dersma is a fantastic acquisition. It's another three-pronged attack in that wing now. Nick Martin's got another creative player to do that, and I can see Xavier floating through that centre and hitting up targets, and there's no doubt about it, he can change the dynamic of the game. In the draft, they brought Nate Caddy in. They traded up for this position, and definitely something they need. Real scope for me for this kid potentially to play in the midfield. 193.88. Northern Knights boy, incredibly strong in the air. This year at the under-18s for Vic Metro, 11.3 touches, 3.7 marks, 1.3 of them contested, 4.7 tackles, which is rare for someone his size, 2 goals a game. Massive development and lightning quick from a standing start. I think he'll start as that third forward, and I can see him starting to get midfield time, maybe 2025, 2026. Definitely going to be that guy though, and the thing is people get confused here. 193, people go, oh, he's not big enough, right? But this guy is built like Stretch Armstrong. When he's reaching for the ball, he's about 210 centimetres tall. Incredibly strong in the air, but also very good at engaging early and leading defenders to the ball. When you really saw that at the Northern Knights, and you saw that when he played for Vic Metro. He's Josh's cousin as well, so he obviously comes from good stock. And when he kicks goals, he kicks them in clusters, and I think this is something that they lack. I really like this acquisition, and I think he'll play early doors. Mark my words, he'll play early doors. Very good get. Pick 10, probably about his money. We look forward to seeing Nate do the business, but maybe not too much with them being Essendon. Luaman Lawal came in as well, the general defender, and Essendon, since giving Adam Sard to us, first dig of the video, 182.72 kegs, they've lacked that ability, that zip and that pace out of the back half of the ground, and Luaman is that man. He is an incredibly versatile player down back who has got some incredible gifts and some incredible skills. Incredibly athletic, plays very like CJ at Hawthorn, can intercept but then can also hit the ground, very running, plays them give and goes and gives you that transitional threat. Playing for country this year and GMV's really stood out about his ability to turn defence into attack, and also in smarts and his IQ one-on-one. 11 disposals, 3.3 marks, 73% disposal efficiency. He uses it well, 2.5 tackles and just under 3 rebound 50s. Coming from the Doggies Academy, it's always a good sign. The reason why I say that is because they've had elite level training for very early before the rest of the draft. And this is a really good get. And this guy, I think, might surprise people where he goes. I think it might surprise people. He's got that energy, and I think it's something that Essendon lack, because I don't think Hind's the answer. They also picked up Archie Roberts, another slider, and this guy here is almost like Magnolia Paint. Very vanilla the way he plays football, because he isn't a risk taker. But another rebounding, quick backman who hits targets very well. 77% disposal efficiency, 21 touches, 3.8 marks, 22.9 of them as contested as well. He isn't scared of getting dirty, and this guy's more aggressive as well, and he has swung through into the midfield on the ball, and I think that's where he's going to play long term. He's got that real Scott Pendlebury-like ability to buy himself time when the time isn't there. His ability to read and his kicking technique is an absolute peach, and he churns the possession, something that they don't have. A lot relies on Zach Merritt, and I think Archie Roberts will, with time, be the partner you want. The rumours of Darcy Parish never leave. I think that this guy will be looking at that position, learning off them, and should that time come, he'll be ready next year. Not this year coming, next year. And finally, they brought in another ruckman, Vigo Vicentini, the big boy from Sandy. And this kid here has got a lot of facets that you look for. Very good in the ruck and incredibly physical. And when you watch him, he really bodies people at 204.99. Very like Todd Goldstein. And the fact that they've got Todd Goldstein in, I think that's important. He likes to play behind the ball. He likes to be like that backstop. And last year for Vic Metro on Sunday, he did shine out. 10.5 touches, 2.5 marks, 23 hit-outs, 3 inside 50s, and 1 clearance. A real strong guy who's got incredible work rate and kind of came from nowhere as well. And was probably unlucky not to be in the main draft. He was rookied. A really good acquisition for him, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that one works out. He's got some good ruckmen to work with. Sam Draper's probably everything he's not, so that helps him in training, adds some strings. Looking ahead to 2024, they've only got their first and second rounders. They have got 2 guys that we should talk about, and it would be amiss of me not to talk about. You've got Jaden Nguyen from the Calder Canners, a winger who can play across half forward. He's got some incredible talent, and he's tied to your NGA. Look out for him playing for the Calder Cannons. An incredible footballer and should be in the top 30 picks. And also another guy called Isaac Kako, again from the Calder Cannons, a real live wire small forward, and probably the second best small forward in the draft class, probably behind Messrs Benny Barrett and Malachi Champion, so probably 2-3 there, but another incredible gift. But we're not going to cheat and give you an NGA, someone that you will pick up. We're going to give you some homework. Nashi King is one that I'm going to look out for, and I think Essendon will be very smart and trade ahead of future to try and get ahead of where these bids come in. And the guy I'm looking at is another Calder Cannons boy. Nash King, midfielder, standing at 180, 179 kegs. He's rambunctious, he's competitive, he's clean in traffic, he's got a real neat kick, and he's got some line-breaking burst about him as well. Played the 12 games last year and also played under 18, so as an underager, 20.8 touches, 1.8 marks, 3.5 tackles, 0.3 goals. Really want to look out for him, one that I think that I can see you going Calder Cannons heavy. At the end of the video, we're going to look at your potential best 23 at the end of the year in an ideal world. And I think Ben Mackay, no-brainer, fullback, followed by Jordan Ridley and Luaman Luau. Now, this could be Archie Roberts, but I've got a feeling that you're playing more with a midfield group. But I feel like by the end of the year, going into round 1 2025, you'll want Luau there, and I feel like he'll break in because that added with Mason Redman and McGrath next to him. They're the ball users, and Zachy Reid I've got pushing out Laverde. That's no knock on Laverde, but I think in an ideal world, if Zach Reid can stay fit, Ben Mackay and Zach Reid as a combination are elite and are really akin with the modern day forwards they're going to come across with a little bit of pace and a little bit of energy. And I think in an ideal world, if Reedy can put him out, That'll be huge, but it could be Laverde. We hope Reid is okay and he gets himself going. The wings, we've gone with Dursma and Martin. I think that is attacking. It's two-way running and it's versatile with Darcy Parish there in the centre. Perky and Gresham are the half forwards, with Carl Langford playing there at centre half forward. You like to go undersized. It's going to be really interesting if one of these kids gets there. I don't think Nate Caddy will get the responsibility early doors. We've named him in the forward pocket with Jakey Stringer and Peter Wright playing full forward. It would be interesting to see with two ruckmen, do you play Sam Draper as a forward and then him pinching the ruck and let Goldstein do the work? That could be one for a later time. But we've got Draper when he returns with Zach Merritt and Benny Hobbs. I'm a big fan of Hobbs. And then you've got Goldstein, Caldwell, Durham and Jai Menzies, who I'm a big rap on. I really do like Jai Menzies. He is a guy. Players to keep a note of though: Harrison Jones and Kane Baldwin, particularly for that centre half forward position. Jake Kelly, Nick Cox isn't there. Owen Davey Jr., another year into him. I suspect he will be strong. And it should be worth noting that you've got a lot of players there as well that I feel like are going to burst out in the VFL. People like Nick Bryan, feel like he's going to get a chance. Elijah Startus, I'm going to be really interested as he's got another year and he will be fighting for the positions as well. Will Setterfield, another one as well. I'd imagine he will be in and about. But there they are. A lot of names, real good off-season for them. They should be looking at a mid-table position at the very least this year. Let me know what you think, Essendon fans. Good luck for 2024, except against us. Looking forward to renewing our rivalry. Until next time, everyone, enjoy your week. Pom out.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh